You're watching Fugitive Red-Eye, and welcome to another episode of Tales from the Drive-Thru. If you're new, Tales from the Drive-Thru is the series where I talk about my experiences working in the fast food industry. Today I'm going to talk about why I quit. Now really there were several reasons why I quit. Obviously the environment of the job was very draining on you. The work itself was rather easy, but it was also very tedious. Also, they would schedule me some nights from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m., and then schedule me to come back at like 7 a.m. the next day. Of course, whenever that happened, to be rebellious, I'd always be at least an hour late those days. They eventually did stop scheduling me those conflicting schedules because of it. And anytime I actually talked to them about it, they would make it so I didn't have to come in. But at the same time, it did piss me off that they would do it in the first place. Another reason is the corporate supervisor we had no longer worked there. I think he might have got fired for being too lenient, to be honest, but I'm not sure. And the lady we got afterward was a lot more strict on things, and she was getting progressively more and more strict on policies. So that was another reason I quit, because frankly, I didn't obey half the policies there. I obeyed the mandatory shit like, hygiene and, food handling stuff. But stupid shit like, for instance, I would take slightly longer breaks and they wouldn't say shit to me about it. Plus, depending on who was the manager at the time, sometimes I wouldn't even wear my uniform. I remember one day I actually wore just a t-shirt. So when they were getting more and more strict and, wanting you to do the whole, for instance, their drive-thru script was fucking stupid. I never followed the drive-thru script. I said whatever the fuck I wanted, and I just did it naturally. And admittedly, I was kind of a jackass. But I did not follow the drive-thru script at all, as I've mentioned in previous videos. But they were starting to get all butthurt that people weren't following the drive-thru script, and they wanted us to do their drive-thru script, which... Here's a little thing about the drive-thru script. We're just supposed to, tell people to order whenever they're ready, and then after that, we're not supposed to say another fucking thing. Now here's the thing, they were inconsistent with that. When I first started there, you weren't supposed to say shit. You were just supposed to let them finish, and then at the end, you're supposed to tell them their total, whether or not they tell you they're done. You're not supposed to ask them if you're done. You're not supposed to offer anything. You're not supposed to do anything like that. But then later on, they changed it so you're supposed to repeat the order back to them, which we weren't originally supposed to do. Also, they just kept changing things. I mean, I didn't care, because, they were changing very minuscule things that I didn't follow anyway. Not to mention the pay there was just awful. I was only getting, by the time I actually quit there, I was only getting $9 an hour. And what I feel was kind of the final nail in the coffin is the fact that there was this new chick that had started there that was terrible. In fact, I had shouted at her plenty of times because she was terrible, and I was kind of an asshole about it. But she was getting paid more than me after she had just started, and she was terrible at her job. I knew how to do everything there, and I was even offered management, but I turned it down. Yet this new bitch is getting paid at least 25 cents an hour more than I am. And I know this because she told me. Surprisingly, when I quit, I expected them to be a lot more desperate to stop. Or rather, to stop me from quitting. But the thing is they only called me twice. And the thing is I never told them I quit. I just stopped showing up. And they called me twice, and then she texted me twice telling me to answer the phone. After that, I never heard from them again. And of course, another main reason I quit is because I did find another job. Now, that other job may not be perfect, but at least I'm getting paid more. And it's part-time, so, I'm making the same amount part-time where I am currently as I was full-time at the drive-thru. Although, to be honest, my current job isn't all that great either. It's still something I can do for the time being. Also, there were certain words that I used on a regular basis working fast food that I just couldn't stand to hear anymore. For instance, there was a specific way old people said the word cheese that just made me cringe. Not in a fucking meme-y, stupid way, but they literally made me wince. Then, of course, you got those people with really thick Hispanic accents that would say Coke, but it would sound like cock. They'd be like, "Can I get a large Diet Coke?" Nothing against them. I thought it was fucking hilarious, but that was funny. You know it's bad when you start having nightmares about the place you work, and I did start having nightmares about the place I work, legitly. Not to the point that some of my coworkers were, but I did still occasionally. But regardless, I just got sick of the job, and there were several things piling up that eventually I did plan to quit anyway. Also, I really fucking hated working the back register, which is what they had me do all the time after a certain point. Granted, I just sat there and watched YouTube on my iPod half the shift, but even then, I got so tired of having to cash out all those orders that it just was so taxing that was also another major contributor. But anyway, that's all I really have to say about why I quit working there. It was not the best of jobs, and if you can avoid it, I definitely recommend you don't work in fast food, just because it's much more grueling and draining on the spirit of a person. But anyway, that's been it for this episode of Tales from the Drive-Thru. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and you have a great rest of the day.